Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be another jam-packed daily cryptocurrency market update. If you are new to this channel and finding yourself on my videos for the first time today, don't forget to check that subscribe button, because every single day around 1 p.m. UK time, we drop an update just like this one to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. We've got a really interesting one lined up for you. There's lots of news relating to sort of crypto companies like Coinbase, which actually has shown profitable earnings for the first time in 2 years. And you guys will know that we were long Coinbase from around about the $30, $40 range. Today it's at around about 180, and we see it going into the 400s. And actually we do have a target for that. We also had a target for MicroStrategy that got hit yesterday. And actually MicroStrategy is on the verge or the cusp, if they continue in the manner that they are, of being added to the S&P, which is huge. So we'll not only look at that news, we'll also be looking at the charts. Of course, MicroStrategy, our target, Coinbase, our target. You know, if these stocks are going to do well, you can kind of correlate that to the cryptocurrency market doing well. They're not going to be doing well at a time where crypto is dying and not flourishing. And this is one of many reasons that we compounded in regards to being bulls on the market again. And we were some of the first back through the door at 16, 15K for Bitcoin, identifying those bullish divergence. Since then, we've had technical structure. It's all played out, and it's still playing out today. And we'll, of course, be looking at that in the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin dominance is still a bit of a thorn in our side. Today, we have AI coins, AI coins that are up 30% on the day. If you guys want to find out what those coins are and unlock my portfolio, do consider becoming a Patreon. A lot of those coins we do talk on YouTube freely about. But if you want to unlock my full portfolio, my thoughts on a more regular basis, and meetings with me, do consider becoming a Patreon. But I want to start things off with some really interesting news as it involves Elizabeth Warren, who is nothing short of an adversary of Bitcoin. And actually probably more broadly the crypto space, but certainly Bitcoin. This is from the Bitcoin magazine. Breaking: Elizabeth Warren signs a certificate to honor Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto, i.e. the CIA. That's a joke. I know I'm going to be triggering people with that. With a ceremonial flag flying. Americans are forever grateful. Rather interesting from someone who is so zealously against Bitcoin, the flag of the United States of America. This is a certificate that the accompanying flag was flown over the United States Capitol in honor of Satoshi Nakamoto. I feel like, I'm in an episode of Black Mirror at this point. I feel like, you know, we have done 2 videos now, and we're not going to continue to do them because I think we've triggered enough people. Certainly, anyway, but we've done 2 videos where we've really questioned the origins of Bitcoin and perhaps the real intent. And the last one we did, we actually drew comparisons with Bitcoin and the kind of monetary system that it's trying to form, and the new one that we're moving on to. And it's going to be a blockchain based one. I don't think it's going to be Bitcoin per se. And actually, in 1913, actually what happened with the Federal Reserve Act and what led up to that, a call for monetary reform, we're at a similar conjunction today. I am very skeptical about the origins of Bitcoin, and I think the fact that they're flying a flag for Satoshi Nakamoto seems a little bit weird to me, given just how much of a threat Bitcoin supposedly is to the Federal Reserve System and the dollar system. Lots of unanswered questions. For the 15th anniversary of Bitcoin, the first truly inclusive financial system that is providing new economic freedom to populations previously ignored by both public and private institutions, Americans are forever grateful. Weird, very weird, very, very weird. And there is a little footnote on this, actually, to go back to it. And it says, for context, anyone can purchase a flag that has flown over the US Capitol. This is from US Rep Jim Cooper said. His website, like those of other members of Congress, has a link to the flag program. Therefore, it doesn't mean that Elizabeth Warren has pivoted on her view on Bitcoin. And again, she's been one of the biggest Bitcoin adversaries, and this doesn't mean that she's pivoting on it. Just some interesting news, in my opinion. Let's talk about what's happening with Coinbase. So Coinbase shares surge 13% in pre-market trade after posting first quarterly profits in 2 years. So this is positive. Coinbase doesn't currently offer dividends. I do think that's something that's coming. You guys will know our plan for Coinbase. So we had a target that was based on this smaller, there was a smaller head and shoulders here that took you up literally to this point here. That was a target, 183. You sold back, you came back for a retest. This is so textbook. We teach all of this in the form of stage analysis. But you can see Coinbase is well, in our opinion, on the journey to $436, in my opinion. And actually, we did say the same thing for the likes of MicroStrategy, and look at that target getting hit. So the naysayers, again, break, retest. You do not need all these BS signals and hocus pocus, whatever the hell. All you need is a chart, and we can teach you how to basically project off of that. And I think the people that have been following me for long enough will now be becoming believers of technical analysis. You know, just look at some of the results and look at MicroStrategy just this morning. So why do we look at these things? Well, it's because if Coinbase wasn't going to do well and we were looking at downside for Coinbase, that would have a crossover in the cryptocurrency market more broadly. And what I mean by that is Coinbase isn't going to do well in an environment where crypto isn't. Okay, it's kind of like maybe a beta or less of a beta play on crypto in the sector more generally. Some other really, really interesting news was actually posted by Joe Burnett. And this says MicroStrategy, which is ticker is MSTR for those who aren't familiar, being added to the S&P 500 if their market cap continues increasing, reveals the end game very close. Bitcoin is going to be part of virtually everyone's portfolio, whether they know it or not. Yeah, I actually agree with this. I do think Bitcoin is on that trajectory. Let's dive over to the MicroStrategy chart. Michael Saylor. How many chairs are you sat on right now, by the way, guys? And if it's only one, then that means you must love Bitcoin. But this hit our target. Textbook. And actually, we can see MicroStrategy going on to new highs. We'll see what sets up at this point. You could have something, you know, a broader head and shoulders setting up. You've also got stocks like Mara. We've not even looked at any cryptos yet, but we can derive a bullish narrative for crypto thus far. So Marathon Holdings is one that we're long and bullish on. Let's talk about Bitcoin, of course. And the plan, the really good news here is the plan that we've sent out for Bitcoin is being followed. Okay, so not only were we looking at that bullish divergence down here as an early entry sign after the FTX capitulation, and we weighed this up with a broader macro, what the stock market was doing, where the dollar was at, so on and so forth. You know, we then had a technical pattern of the inverse head and shoulders. That gave us the 42K. You then had on the small time frames this level, which is a key level of significance, acting exactly as that. You can see it formed this smaller head and shoulders neckline. The target for that was met. Bigger target met, pull back, and then it's just continued to go on. And you've now broken out of this macro head and shoulders, and this is going to see, in my opinion, a run to 150K. And that aligns with everything else that we're looking at on rates, on crypto stocks, on crypto against the likes of the S&P, the NASDAQ, gold. Remember, we were looking at all these and the turning of them to look at this right shoulder that we did say was going to be a shallower one. I still can't believe you have bears at this point. I mean, I really can't, after being 180 degrees wrong, and they'll keep going, oh, there's a black swan happening. Oh, there's this happening. Oh, there's that happening. The charts will tell you what's going to happen before it happens. Because you aren't as clued up as the people with the big money. The caliber of YouTube crypto content is shockingly poor from a technical point of view, certainly. And even more when it comes to coverage of projects. So if you're not already a subscriber, do consider becoming one. So it's all systems go, really. The dollar is being persistently strong. And I've got a lot of questions in regards to, well, why is the dollar being, you know, the correlation between Bitcoin and the dollar is that dollar up, Bitcoin down, Bitcoin up, so on and so forth. Dollar up, store box for Bitcoin. Dollar down, Bitcoin as well. Even though the dollar's been going up, Bitcoin's been going up at the same time. And I think that's because the dollar strength and thus weakness here and the correlation has been to do with rates. However, the dollar's strength is really to do with the FX market, the broader FX market. If you look at what happened in the UK yesterday, we officially entered a technical recession coming out at minus 0.3. That's 2 negative quarters, which is the definition of a recession. at least around the rest of the world, not the United States. I mean, they kind of said, okay, well, we're not using that anymore at this point, but which isn't uncommon. A recession was called a depression, and before that it was called a panic, and they change it over time. Things become more and more, will wrap you up in cotton wool and will make you feel like life is fair. But side note from that, so I think the dollar's strength with Bitcoin, not only with on the short time frames, 2 technical patterns that sort of made it look likely that they were both going to go up. I think it's because the dollar strength at this point isn't really to do with rates. It's more to do with what's happening in the FX kind of arena. And of course, the expectation of lower rates, which I think we're going to get. I'm not in the high rates or rate spike camp, by the way. I do see the reasoning behind that with bonds, but actually I'm bullish bonds and real estate, which sounds very horrific for me to say. I'm certainly not bullish bonds as a investment, a viable one anymore, but the Fed has to be the bar of last resort. I think we do end up with a crash, but bullish divergence on bonds. Since then, we have had a bit of a rally. I do think this continues. Even housing playing out exactly as expected, which is a kind of more far out field of risk, which aligns with Bitcoin doing well and everything in between. Gold, we'll get there. Everything is very much going in the right direction. And on that note, I'm going to love and leave you to your Fridays, guys. Thank you very much for watching. It's always really enjoyable to get on here and talk with you. Interesting news about Elizabeth Warren. Interesting news about Coinbase, of course, MicroStrategy, which made our target at this point. Yeah, keep on keeping on. Be on the right side of the trend. Make money as a result of it. Don't listen to fearmongers and news flows. Follow the charts, follow the patterns, follow the trend, stick with it, and you'll do just well as a crypto investor. That's all I've got for you in this video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.